First of all, for the Italy performance, it's brilliant to have them playing like this. I was so impressed with so many different aspects of their game, their bravery, their skill set, their know-how, their knowledge of what they're trying to do, how they are understanding of manipulating defences and giving them a couple of options and trying to choose the right one. A bit like it's a version of what Ireland are doing. Right. They're on the early scales of what Ireland are doing, but even their red zone defence down on their line, Ireland haven't really come across that level of intensity, that physicality. Their line at maul, thought unbelievably impressive. So I think Ireland will have learnt a lot themselves, having come up against opposition like that, of how they were actually neutralised a bit in a couple of areas that they're very, very strong. Their pick and jam game in around the try line is almost unstoppable, but yet Italy held them out.
Just by sheer intent?
I just think huge physicality, but accuracy of collisions as well. But yeah, largely intent and body on the line.
Is the solution for Ireland show more intent?
No, I think sometimes you just have teams that really are on it on a particular day. You could play Italy another day and they might get a couple of pick and jam scores. So I think it's just take that in isolation for the game that it was. I just thought
there must be a degree of, and you must have felt it maybe to a lesser extent against lesser Italian teams, but there must be a nagging knowledge at the back of your mind, we're probably going to win this game. And it's probably hard to get to that manic place that the Italian side defending against the number one team in the world are in.
Yeah, that's fair. It is. I think you'll feel as though, for like New Zealand felt for many years with us, that no matter what, we'll still find a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I suppose there is a not being disrespectful because of what's happened over the course of the last 20 years in games against Italy. We've only lost once. That it does feel as though we'll still, particularly this team, will find a way to get it done. So yeah, maybe there is a subconscious of physicality, or that you're just off a couple of percent, and it equalises that fortitude or that ability to win that one-on-one battle. I don't know. We're talking about like tiny detail, but that is Test match rugby.
Where else did they neutralise Ireland?
Well, I think they had Ireland running backwards in defence a few times, which we haven't seen much. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit around the 13 channel. I think that's what makes it so important that we have either Garry Ringrose or Robbie Henshaw playing there. And I'll tell you why. I'll go back to the World Cup in 2015. And we'd have gotten to a World Cup semi-final, I really believe, against Argentina if we had Jared Payne playing 13. So at that stage, Keith Earls had been coming in and out of the centre. He was on the wing, playing a bit of full-back, not an out-and-out centre. But I would say Jared Payne's, the best part of his game was his defensive organisation, his understanding and ability to read and see when we were narrow, an ability to pull the defence wider. And we missed that, and all the talk was about Sean O'Brien and Paulie and Johnny being missed. I think Jared Payne was such a huge loss in that World Cup because we got exposed on the extremities a couple of times, particularly in the first minute of the game. So for me, it is one of the most difficult positions. I can say it. Because through experience, that knowing the multiple decisions that you have to make as a 13 and how you have to front and dummy and blag and pretend that you're doing one thing versus, not showing a consistent picture, all of those aspects are part of a good 13's playbook to be able to get in the head of the opposition 10. And we were so soft. We were as soft as we possibly could have been. And sometimes in first phase, you're down numbers, you have to concede 5 or 8 or 9 metres and make a tackle out on the touchline. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I did a piece I put together a piece for ITV with Garry Ringrose that obviously never showed because he didn't play, but I've scrutinised his game over the last couple of against France and Wales. There's so much depth and detail to what he's doing. Showing eye line, showing high, dropping off, never the same picture twice. Shoulders square, but then relax them out when he sees, the possibility of a long pass or a kick pass. His, covering capabilities and his kick chase. His game against France was actually, it was a 9.5 out of 10. It really was so good. Defensively, he's come on to another level. So in that really vulnerable position on the edge, now they are playing wingers a bit higher, so there's a bit more security, but you could see it in James Lowe, the uncertainty around when he was shooting through, where Bundy was playing off, and he tried to make some reads where he didn't have that security blanket of what Garry does, and his ability to be able to get the decision wrong, but actually react and get back out, like he did against Dan Biggar against Wales, where he played short for the Jack Morgan ball that went across him, and Biggar went on the bounce on the outside. And his ability to pivot and go and still, get a legs tackle, like we do need Garry Ringrose, and Robbie Henshaw's a very good defender. Bundy's a really good tackler. I don't know if he's necessarily a brilliant defender. He's very good at actually tackling, but I think defending is all about reading, is about understanding who your man is and how you're going to put yourself in the best body position to make a positive impact.
And that arsenal of Ringroses that you describe, the various things he's using, is that kind of standard for your average Test match 13 who's playing there regularly, or is this like an extra level of sophistication?
I think he's another level.
Right.
I think he's another level. I do. I've watched a lot of 13s, and I know he's a big student of the game, but you can tell with what he's doing. I was trying to see if you could get yourself in his mindset when he's playing in particular body shapes, and it's all about body shape, because communication with hundredths of a second sometimes isn't affordable. So it's all about looking at who the personnel are, who are the ball players, the study you've done on them, what their favoured actions are, and that's where Garbisi caught Lowe out a couple of times. He looked out the back at one point and then hit Canoni short. He had a Kapuatsu coming around the corner and screened one player, looked as though it was to him, but flashed right across the front of him, like really clever stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Now, the best players are capable of new playbooks every game, of coming up with. Finn Russell's another one that you can't overread. There's very few habits there, so you got to be extra careful with how you defend against that type of personnel versus someone who's a creature of habit, who goes to certain plays repetitively, and that's all to do with the level of analysis that you do and understanding.
There you go. That was but a taste of the full rugby conversation. As usual, you can get the full chat wherever you get your podcast. It's waiting for you right now.